Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bernadette's Kitchen. I know I have so many things in front of me, but I'm going to show to you what my vegan kitchen looks like and what my pantry essentials are. And welcome to my channel. And let's see who's here. I've got. Sorry? You cannot really see their names. Okay. But anyway, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you're in the Philippines, it's a Sunday for you, and maybe you just woke up after sleeping in. So thank you for being here. And if you're here in Canada, it's evening, and if you're in the States, it's evening too. And again, this show is my vegan pantry essentials, and this is to show to you and to share to you what you need in your pantry so you can make delicious vegan dishes. Because some of you might think that vegan dishes are bland or they're boring, but you can actually make them really tasty if you have the right ingredients. And also, just a disclaimer that when I started years ago going plant-based, not fully vegan yet, I only had very basic things in my pantry. And these products that I have now, I accumulated over time. So you don't have to have all of these to go vegan or to eat more plants. This is just to give you an idea of what's good to have. And I'll also be sharing some of my favorites and some substitutions so that you can make them healthier, because I'm a nutritionist too. And before we go into that, I would just like to congratulate those who have decided to join the Veganuary. So the Veganuary, if you're not aware of it, it is a movement where we encourage you to go vegan for the month of January. And if you sign up in the Veganuary site, they have recipes there that to help you follow along, and some tips so that you can stay on track on being vegan for the month. All right. So if you've seen my invite, I will be joined later on by Jian, who is also a vegan Cebuana and mom. And she will also be sharing to you her favorite vegan pantry essentials. And as a mom, what she prepares for Yari and what her favorite foods are. And this will give you an idea of how it is to raise a vegan kid, that it is doable and it can still be fun, and that she's actually very happy kid. All right. So before I go sharing to you my pantry products, I'd just like to share to you briefly my story. So I'm here in Vancouver, but I'm originally from Cebu, so I'm Cebuana too. And when I started going plant-based, that was in 2011, there was not really a lot of options for me. So going vegan was something unheard of. And when I switched to going plant-based, my family and friends actually thought that I'm crazy because it's very hard to do being a Filipino and having meat as a staple in my diet. But I actually did it. I started with very simple. I only had a blender and very basic kitchen products like a wok and or a pot. And I used a lot of my blender for my green smoothies, and I made a lot of pasta because it was easy to make. And I still, even with the very basic things that I had, I was still able to go plant-based. And it was when I moved here that I was introduced to an array of vegan products that there was really no turning back. It was easier to shift, and I learned more about the animals and the planets, of the impact of our diet choices to them. And so I made a switch, and I'm very happy that I did. So moving on, so that's my story, and you can definitely share your stories too, so that you can inspire other people. And if you're still on that journey of transitioning, just adding more plants into your diet, like, great job. Like, it starts with that, just adding more, and eventually your body actually craves for more plants. Okay, and feel free to chat if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. All right, so starting before I do that, I will actually invite Jian here to join the stage with me, and so that she can introduce herself and also share her story, because we're both from Cebu. Hi, Jian.
Hi, Bern. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, mayong adlaw. Good day to everyone.
Yay,
Nice
may
to see you here.
buntag sa mga taga Cebu. All
Yes,
right.
Bisda.
Oh, and by the way, just to add, Jian is also a yogi, and also her daughter is a yogi. So it's so awesome that I got to connect with Jian through yoga. And when she moved here in Canada, that I saw her also, like, okay, posting yoga videos. So it's so awesome that we are in this path together. And I'm always amazed how Yari is that kid who is just happy doing yoga and eating pet chai. So maybe you can share your story of how you became vegan, and like how you transitioned, and also how it is raising up Yari as vegan.
Yeah, so Yari, by the way, is my 4-year-old daughter. I think she's watching now. So hi, Yari and Daddy in the other room. Oh, yeah. So it's so when you sent me the invite about this live show, I thought it was very timely because January is actually my vegan anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think next week I'll be vegan for 11 years. Yeah,
Yay!
and most of the time I spent vegan was in Cebu actually because I've only been here in Canada for less than 2 years. So I became vegan mainly because of my dog. When I got a dog, I started searching for videos on how to take care of Oni, my dog. So and then I got into searching about um, videos, and then one click led to another, and it was just a rabbit hole of searches and Googling for me. And then uh, I think it just opened my eyes as to how we are causing pain and suffering to the animals. So that's for me. So
Yes.
yeah, I went vegan overnight, but I haven't been eating um, pork and beef and only a little bit of chicken for many years before that. So it was a gradual change for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. I find it very brave that you decided to do that way back when,
Yes.
like, during that time there was really no like alternatives, and it was like something very like rare back
Yes.
in Cebu, especially that it's very abundant of seafoods, because we're an island and everyone's like having lechon.
Exactly. When you search or when Instagram wasn't so much of a thing back then, right? Or
Right, right,
YouTube videos or Facebook, it wasn't as in back then.
right.
So um I that's why I made my Instagram account so that I could look for recipes, and
Mm.
then I started to, just like you, who became my online friend, I started to have vegan friends all around the world that I still follow now and who still follow me, but we haven't seen each other. Some are Filipinos and some are all over the world. So um, it's great that Instagram or social media has stepped up to this level, that
Yes.
you starting this, the live and everything. that we can reach more people. Because back when I started, I feel like I was the only one, and I
Yeah.
couldn't reach out to anybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that reminded me of like a post that I actually share that being vegan can be lonely at times,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
remember that the animals are cheering you on. So we continue doing it even it feels really lonely, especially if our family is not on board too.
Yes. Exactly. My mother would always say, "Oh, eat a little fish or kanilang gamay lang."
Yes,
When I was pregnant, I worked in the airport where across the airport there was a Jollibee branch. So
right.
when I went out of the airport around 9 p.m. going home, I could smell Jollibee, and my hormones were just like all over the place. Jollibee, Jollibee, Jollibee. My husband said, um, you go, kaon lang, just eat. I will not
Yeah,
tell your secret. But I couldn't really eat even if I wanted to. I really couldn't. Not being righteous or anything, but I just
yeah.
couldn't. Yeah, so I just cried. I got
So
over it.
I
I
find it
got
very
over
funny
it,
'cause,
and yeah.
yeah, before actually before let me see. I don't know I don't know how to take that out. But anyway, before I actually I became fully vegan. Whenever I was with gatherings or with Filipino friends, and they would not have any option for me. What I did back then was just remove the meat, thinking
Oh
that
yeah.
that was okay. Like like eat the chop suey, just the vegetables, and remove the
Yes.
chicken, or like the pancit and remove the chicken. That was that for me because it was a choice that I made for health mainly. Like I
Mm,
wasn't sick, but I chose because I knew I was learning more how plants are good for us, and that was the reason why like I don't eat meat. And then when I moved here, I actually remember that here in Vancouver is like a wellness hub where everyone's
mm.
trying to be healthy. And I would see a lot of people downtown who would like advocate being vegan, like who would actually educate you on the streets.
Yes,
And
yes.
right. And then there was
Mm.
like I remember like one time I was actually out and then I got caught up with their poster and I looked and I was reading and then a guy approached me and asked like he said like, oh, are you interested of going vegan? And in my head like I actually said like no.
You
And
used to
then
be a nutrition student at this time,
no,
or?
I wasn't a nutrition student. I already moved here. That maybe that was in 2017. I was like, no, no. And then he said like, oh, what are your reasons for not going vegan? And I was very frank to him. Like I've been vegetarian for so long, but I can't give up cheese. Like cheese is my favorite thing because I love pizza and it just tastes so good. And then
Mm.
like like he didn't even convince me like like he wasn't being pushy but he said like I'm rooting for you. He actually said I'm rooting for you. You're already in the right path and I know that you can do it eventually. You will do it. And I said like I hope so but I don't think I can do it right now. And I'm sharing this story because like for those people who are saying the same phrase saying the same thing that I can't do it, like I can't give up cheese, I can't give up pork or whatever. It's I said that too even when
Yes,
I
I
was in the
said that too.
right.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
I could never give up lechon or my we were
Or
talking
cheese.
earlier.
I think cheese and
Cheese,
eggs is the
cheese and eggs.
number one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, cheese and eggs. And even when I moved here, when I gave up eggs, like the real the eggs, but then I would still eat like baked goods with egg. So
Yeah, yeah.
right? So
Mm,
it wasn't like a deliberate action of checking the ingredients. I wasn't into
mm,
that yet. So it's like, oh, I'm not eating eggs anymore. But then I would buy and didn't really care if there was butter in it or whatever. So it was really when I went to a nutrition school, like I was already starting to take out dairy and eggs. But then it was when I went to to nutrition school that I learned more about plants. I didn't decide immediately to go vegan. It was gradual. I like my teachers. Maybe there were only two of them who were vegan, or maybe one. So they weren't advocating even being vegan in school, but I learned along the way, and it was our chef teacher, and also our nutrition teacher, like our nutrition basics, like fundamentals of nutrition teacher, who was vegan, who inspired me to like maybe I can give this a try because like he's also a yoga teacher and a chef. So it's like so awesome. Like I was looking up to him, and also I had a very close friend who's actually in Germany now, who's also vegan, like since she was a kid. So that encouraged me, and I just like made the plunge, and I'm happy that I did it. And learning more about the animals and the planet, like I'm on the right track.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay.
When you think about the effects um, on a long-term basis, you'll say to yourself, "I did the right thing."
Right, right.
Yeah,
So we are for that, and I don't have like little kids, but I'm already thinking of those kids like who will follow along, like the future generations, and I would like to contribute to their future, not like to the negative aspect of it.
not like take away from them.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, like that was a very long introduction sharing to you our stories. But anyway, I hope that you have an idea that it's a journey and your story will be different than ours, but you try and you will learn along the way. So
Yeah.
you're right. So now we will share to you our pantry essentials, and I'll share to you my favorites, and Jian can share hers if I don't mention them. And we will start with like the very basics, which are the condiments. Okay, because I feel like they're very important to make your vegan food tasty. Just like your chicken or your pork, if there's no marinade or there's no like seasonings, then they will not taste good. And same with our tofu and other products that we make as a substitute. It relies on the condiments. So
Exactly.
now
Yeah.
I'm just going to share to you, like, first off is soy sauce. I feel like soy sauce is a go-to, especially if you're Asian. And you can have like regular soy sauce. I know like camel, datong puti is like very common in the Philippines.
I
But
love Silver Swan. I
oh,
can't
silver
live without
swan.
Silver Swan.
Oh, that's
No
what we
other
have
soy sauce than Silver Swan.
at home. That is actually what we had, and my father really likes that, my papa. But here, my favorite is actually the liquid minos. I just love its taste, and it has lesser sodium, so I feel like it's healthier, and I just like the depth of the flavor. Like I feel like I just need to put very little, and it's like even just like a simple vegetable and put liquid aminos, and it's like even it's a little bit more expensive, but then it goes a long way because you only need very little. So this is my personal favorite. You don't have to have it, but you have to have soy sauce.
Yes, you have to have soy sauce, whatever
Yes,
brand it is.
whatever brand it is. And then, but if you have like some health issues and you're trying to like limit your, I'm putting my nutritionist hat. If you're trying to cut down on your salt, then like you can have all other alternatives too, which has lesser sodium. And then I wanted to add, if you're Asian, if you want to make your Asian food tasty, rice wine vinegar is good. It's a little bit more subtle than your white wine vinegar, and you also need very little. It's in a sweet, like sweet sour side, and I like to add this in my vegan dishes, and especially if you want to make sushi, you add this in the rice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite vinegar?
Um, for me, it's suka tuba, so
Oh
Cebuano.
yes.
Yes,
Oh, we don't have
suka
that.
tuba.
We don't have that. Koan, there is that. What is that? Pinakurat.
Yeah, there is pinakurat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's close, but just the ones that they don't sell in the market that you
Right.
can buy in the
In the galon.
kilid-kilid,
Galon.
that's the best. Yeah.
We don't have that here. So I am, and also like, because I am nutritionist trying to choose the healthier option here. So I also use apple cider vinegar, and I
Yeah,
actually,
so that's also one
right?
of my favorites.
Yeah, and it's also like you can buy this in a gallon, which is very cheap.
Yeah, and you can use that I use this a lot in baking because it
Yes.
makes things
With baking,
fluffier
yes.
when
With
it
baking soda is like,
interacts with baking soda, right? Yeah.
yes, yes, totally.
Yes.
So that's a tip.
Yes.
If you want that like fluffy texture in your baking, you can use apple cider and baking soda together, and even in pancakes, like it gives
Yes,
you that
pancakes.
fluffy texture in your baking. So that's a tip. You remember that. And then another is, of course, your salt and pepper. Even if you're not vegan, you need that.
Mm-hmm.
And another favorite of mine is actually balsamic vinegar.
Oh,
And
yes.
what I love
Mine too.
about this, right? Because you can use this in your salads. And if you're cutting on salt, you can actually use this to give your food flavor without adding salt. That's a hack. So,
Yes.
if you're trying to be healthier, like cutting on salt because you have your cardiovascular issues, you can use this.
Yeah, I think that goes best with salad too,
Right. And
right?
with oil, uh,
Yeah.
with your what's this like olive oil. All right, and then other condiments are just the basic ones like mustard, and then your ketchup and relish. So relish is like your like like chopped
A
cucumber,
salsa type kind of.
salsa type. Like where is that?
Yeah. So
So I
any
like that
fruit.
make sandwiches, and in making
Mm,
your what do you call this? Your like sort of egg salad, but using chickpeas. That mayo, relish, mustard dressing, and my favorite hot sauce is actually
ah,
sriracha.
yeah.
Like put sriracha
Yeah.
on everything,
Yeah, sriracha and everything.
sriracha on everything.
When I started going vegan, so of course, there was no sriracha in Cebu except in SNR.
Oh
So
wow.
I had to go to SNR for that sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. But
actually just
now
started
you can buy it anywhere, I think.
everywhere. There's also a keychain that has a small sriracha, so that when you go to restaurants, if they don't have it, you can just grab your
You can
keychain.
just
I have a friend
yeah.
who's an addict of sriracha. He has a sriracha shirt and has like that keychain. So, do you have any other condiments that you would like to share? I think that's what I have.
Yeah. Um, I think you covered most of it. Because my list kind of overlaps because
That's okay.
like I have it, I have VCO or for as an oil
Okay,
or
so
dressing.
we will go to oil.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
so the oils, also because I'm vegan and I'm a nutritionist, so I'm kind of presenting to you the healthier options. I never use vegetable oil or canola oil because it's bad for your health. So what options I have here? I have the olive oil, and my favorite for high heat is actually avocado oil.
mhm.
And coconut oil is actually very high in saturated fat, but you can have this as a substitute for butter. If you don't have butter, well,
Yes.
vegan butter is very abundant here, but if you're in the Philippines, it's not. You can actually use coconut oil as a substitute for butter, but you don't want to keep using it because it's high in saturated fat if you have like some heart issues. But those are my favorites, and I just want to give you guys a tip that you can cook without oil. We have not been cooking with oil for a while now. I just saute with water, and it saves so much money because olive oil and avocado oil is actually expensive. I
Yes,
don't usually
expensive.
fry, I just bake. So when I bake too, I
Mm.
rarely use oil. So it's a if you're being cheap or economical, then you don't have to use oil. But if you need oil, those are my favorite options. But if you don't have these available, then you can use whatever oil you have. Yeah.
I think you're the ideal vegan because I still like fried. Like yesterday we had mushroom nuggets and I don't like them air fried. There's just a
Oh,
difference to it. So Yeah, I'm the
Right.
junkie vegan.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
We do it. We do what we can, and we go for the things that we like.
Yeah.
And you start somewhere, right? Like I
Yes,
was like
exactly.
that too. I never really thought about nutrition back then. I thought like, okay, but then as you learn, like me, I tried to walk my talk. So that's what I
Yes,
have.
yes. That's so true. Oh, speaking of condiments,
Yes,
there's a big misconception about barbecue sauce, right? Because they think
right,
it's barbecue sauce. Oh, it has whatever kind
meat,
of meat in it, but no, it's just actually spices.
right.
So vegans, you can have barbecue sauce. Just double check the ingredients, or you can even make your own.
Yes.
In
Also
the
include
Philippines, we just use ketchup, soy sauce, and oil, right? It
yeah, and
makes
also
for a good
with maple
barbecue
syrup.
sauce.
Or
Yeah.
sweetener to give you that sweet taste. So
Yes.
that
Yeah.
is what Lartians use. It's a mixture
Yes.
of soy sauce, ketchup, and
And
like um, sugar,
yeah,
sugar,
sugar
yeah,
for the
and oil.
sweetness.
So you can
Yeah.
make your own soy barbecue sauce if you don't have time, then you can just buy from the supermarket. It's cheap, and then
Yes.
we're now going to spices, and because like we're taking so much time, we're chatting.
Yeah.
uh,
We're gonna take forever.
It'll take forever, but the so I have so many spices because I love spices and herbs, and this is like my herb rack, and my go-to would be cinnamon. So cinnamon is you can add this in your oats, in your coffee, in your baked goods. And cinnamon is also good for regulating blood sugar. So if you have diabetes, if you have high blood sugar, then adding cinnamon in your food is actually good for you. And my other go-to is actually Italian seasoning because you can add it on anything, especially in pasta. You don't have to think about it. You just like add like lots of
Yeah.
it. And what the Italian seasoning, and that's like with oregano, with basil, parsley,
Thyme,
thyme,
rosemary.
celery, and what else do I have? So those are my basic stuff that I had when I was in the Philippines, but now you have so many options. So as you expand your pantry and your flavor palette actually expands, that um, you get more products. And these are my
Yes.
spices. My go-to is actually garlic powder. I like it adds flavor and everything, and onion powder. So those two powders I use a lot.
Yes. Very basic.
Very basic. Turmeric, and because not
Yes.
just because it gives color to your food, but it's very healthy. If you have turmeric every day, it's actually anti-inflammatory. Nutritious,
Yeah.
nutritious hat. And a tip: have your turmeric with black pepper because it helps with absorption of 200 times more absorption when you have it
Oh,
with black pepper.
I didn't know that. But
Yes.
in our household, so we put turmeric in our rice.
I
Yeah, so
saw that.
we
Yellow
have
rice.
yellow rice every day. When we don't have yellow rice, Yari would ask, "Why is the rice not yellow, or why is it white?" Yeah. So yeah, just
Yeah.
to add your
Nutrition
what's this?
value.
Anti-inflammatory. Yeah, with
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, if you also have kids, that's a very good tip, Jian, because if you have kids and they want color in their food,
Yes.
you can also do that. Like
Mm.
put some color, like yellow, and I like curry and we like curry here, so we add that. And if you make tofu scramble, it makes your tofu look yellow, which is like your eggs. So that turmeric, curry, and we like also burritos here. So we have cumin and coriander,
Mm.
and just even before I was vegan, I was already using nutmeg
Oh
in
yes.
a lot of things, and it's like a humble spice because people don't usually add it, but when you add it in your pasta, in your curry dishes, it gives you that depth. Like it's
Yeah.
different
I
dimensions. So
also like it in my drink, the
oh,
nutmeg. Yeah. Like
okay.
yeah, just like cinnamon.
Oh,
Yeah.
cinnamon is like my go-to. I finish it all the time. And then yeah, so that those are our favorites. Do you have any others that you want to share?
Yeah, so because I'm a mom, I have a lot of powdered um powdered fruits or vegetables in my pantry for just for color, so that
Uh-huh.
sometimes Yari will ask for, I want a purple cookie or a pink cupcake. So we have a lot of powders that can make those food colorful without using artificial food coloring. So we
Mhm.
have like dragon fruit powder, purple corn powder, acai, a variety of powders that you can use if you want to use them. If you want to explore with all the different flavors. Yeah, it gives color, and also there are nutritional benefits.
That's good. So yeah, while we're talking about it, like since Jian is sharing to you how she's making this very applicable to moms, so follow her, Cebuana Vegan, so that you can see what she makes for her daughter and what they do together, like practicing yoga and like being outdoors. And if you want to know like more nutrition stuff related to going vegan or even just transitioning, you can also follow Maybe Yoga
Or
With Us. And I share it
yeah,
in.
or raising a vegan child. Yeah, you can follow me and
Ask her
see that
questions.
yeah, that my daughter is not deprived at all.
Right. Oh, true. No deprivation here. We eat what we like. And
Yes.
then I'm going to proceed to the other dried stuff that we dried goods that we have. So let's just proceed to baking because like a lot of people like want to learn how to like get rid of eggs and get rid of butter in their
Yes.
baking. So just to give you an idea, like eggs you can substitute with flax seeds, ground flax. So you can put water, like 1 tablespoon of flax with two or 3 tablespoons of water, and that will give you 1 egg. Or you can also use chia seeds, like soak it, and that will give you that creamy texture. Or sometimes I use, if you want it sweet, you can use mashed banana or even applesauce. So those are the things that you can use. I started with just applesauce back then, and I like entered into flax. And then for that's for eggs, and for butter, as we said, you can use coconut oil, or you can just use applesauce as a substitute, or you can use nut butters for oil because like you don't really need them, right? Unless like you're really following this very intricate recipe. But yeah, and of course, flour. Well, you have your all-purpose flour, but my favorite right now is actually oat flour. I just like blend um, my oats, my rolled oats, and make oat flour. That has been my go-to recently for flour because I find that it's from whole grains and it's healthier. So like, that's my go-to. But now there's if you want gluten-free because you have some gut issues, then you can always go for gluten-free flour. That's very available now in the supermarket. If not, then you go for gluten-free oats, which you can also blend as flour. What is your go-to flour? Flour.
My go-to, I usually just use a mixture of all-purpose flour and almond flour,
Mm-hmm.
or chickpea flour sometimes.
Right.
Because I have to keep in mind that you also have to keep in mind, guys, that when you substitute, there will be a difference in consistency with the finished product. So oat flour usually gives you a denser, right?
Mhm.
It's dense,
Yes.
so it's like full.
Drying. Drying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you don't you remember to um
Adjust.
adjust your expectation levels.
You can
Yeah,
add more. You can add more like liquid. Like add more plant milk,
yeah, yeah,
like that
yeah.
to adjust the consistency of your batter. But
Mm-hmm.
though but during that time, like before, my substitutions were basically more of the eggs and the butter. So I didn't
Yeah,
even think about flours back then. It's just now that I want it healthier that I have these options. But then, like, I didn't even think about it. Yeah, so chickpea, because you mentioned chickpea flour. I use this too, but a lot of times for making frittata and also vegan omelette. So I
Yeah.
use this, and recently I started mixing this with soft tofu to make the fluffier flavor in your vegan egg instead of just a chickpea because it's very drying. Uh,
Yeah. We
so,
use that a lot in as a substitute for egg with cookies. That works well. Chickpea flour. Yeah.
that's
Mm,
good.
yeah.
That's good. It's healthy too because it has
Yes, exactly. So chickpeas is garbanzo beans, and so it's high in protein and
yes.
other stuff.
So that, and then other things that we would like to share to you, like going vegan, I feel like if you have access to it, like this is not a must, but if you have access to it, is nutritional yeast. Like I was talking to Jian earlier, and we didn't have this back then in the Philippines, right? Like when we started, but like now it's readily available. So it is this yellow like flakes that you add as a cheese flavor. It gives you that umami taste,
Mhm.
depth, so you add it if you want that cheese taste. Yeah.
Yes, this food became popular because it there was a controversy before that vegans lack in B12 and yeast. Yeah, yeast has high in is high in B12, so
Yes.
that's how it became popular. And but I think that myth has been debunked, and we just enjoy we just enjoy it for the flavor, right?
Yeah. There are other ways to
Yeah.
get B12. You could supplement. Like supplement is easier because there's like higher amounts of B12 in the
Yes.
supplement, right? So, but
Yes.
yes, if you haven't tried it, and if you have access to it, give it a try, add it. And I
Yeah,
made like
especially
my
if you have a child, you should have yeah, because kids like umami taste, right?
yes.
Sometimes
True.
Yari for dinner tonight, Yari had broccoli and cheese, and she had nutritional yeast or nooch on her rice. So at least it's just not plain rice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. And you're adding more nutrition value to the rice too,
yeah,
aside from turmeric.
mm,
So that, and then of course, like other things, there's just like I'll just go with it quickly, and you can just add along. Cocoa powder is like a staple because you make like your chocolate cookies. You can make hot drinks from it. Very versatile, very available, and it's also like rich in magnesium, rich in iron. So cocoa powder, just like choose the good quality so that it doesn't have like that weird taste. I also, because I'm Filipino, I have tablia, and my
yes,
husband doesn't really
tablea.
drink coffee, so he makes hot chocolate every day. So we always have that. It's very different than like the powder. So tablia still has that fat, the cocoa fat. So we have that all the time. And then other things that I have would be like the sweeteners. Our go-to is maple syrup because we are in
Yes,
Canada.
yes, we are in the land of the
We
maple.
have a lot of maple, so we have this, and we also, and my go-to is also
Cocoa sugar.
coconut sugar.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I don't have white sugar, but those are my go-to. And people may ask, like, why not honey? We always use honey because that's not vegan. That's food for bees, and we don't want to steal the food for bees because
Yes, because they'll get hungry in winter if we steal
yeah,
their food.
and what happens is they feed the bees with artificial sugar so they
Artificial
survive.
food. Mm.
But if you think about it, like we don't need honey to survive. Bees need honey to survive. So we shouldn't be stealing their food. So guys, shift to maple syrup. Save the bees, because otherwise we won't have flowers.
I
Uh,
also like muscovado.
I don't have Muscovado. So yes, I'm sure it gives you
If
that.
you're in,
It's
yeah,
very
if you're
good.
in the Philippines.
Yes, go for that. Um, and then I also wanted to share to you the other things that I have aside from like still in the area of baking, but can be like a separate too. So I wanted to share to you like the different nuts and seeds that I have. And this is something that you actually do not necessarily need when to go vegan, but this is a good addition because of its nutritional value. This is where you get your good fats. And at the same time, you can use this as substitutes or to give texture to your food. So very basic seeds are your chia seeds, which we mentioned would be good substitute for eggs. You can make chia pudding out of it, which is a great breakfast in itself.
Yes.
Hemp parts, I actually learned that hemp is not allowed in the Philippines because of the CBD, but it's actually
Yeah,
safe.
it's a relative of, can we say that word? You
The
say it.
seeds don't have the CBD. It's the other part of the plants. So this is really safe. But then, if you don't have it in the Philippines, you don't have to have it. But it is good to have
I
if
think
you're
I was able to buy hemp seeds in healthy options way back. I don't know if
now they can't.
they can't. Okay, so
Because I
they
have
changed it.
friends who've been
Yeah.
asking
So
me,
maybe
and
that was 5 years ago.
yeah, and they were told that they can't sell it now. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but if you're here in Canada or the Philippines, definitely have hemp seeds. That's high. It's omega
Yes,
three
one of the highest
protein.
in, yeah.
Yeah, protein too, and like
And it's
flax.
also yummy.
It's yummy. It gives it texture, and then this
Mm,
flax is like, oh, you should have this in every, like, well, not every food, but have this every day. It's a great source of omega 3 and also good fat, and really good if you're like in regulating your hormones. So yeah, like flax, like you don't need omega 3s from fish.
yes.
You can have it from algae, and this is a good alternative. And other seeds, like other seeds you can just add, but not necessary, like your sunflower seeds, your pumpkin seeds, and those have like different minerals in it, but not a must. But for me,
Yes.
my go-to nuts are really good for you nutritionally, and also like to add texture to your food. So my favorite is actually walnuts. And so walnuts, like it gives texture to your baked goods. It's also rich in omega 3, good fat. And I love, I don't have it here, cashews here. Cashews, and you can soak it and blend it to make that cream sauce with nutritional
Yeah,
yeast without having to use dairy. And if
that's
you,
what I used to make cheesecake without the
oh
cheese
yeah,
and the milk. Yeah.
yeah, okay, that sounds good. But it is our
Yeah, you.
go-to. This is our go-to also for white pasta sauce. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so this is our go-to cashews. And
Anything with like creamy, cheesy, you go for cashew.
then true, but you can also substitute other nuts if you don't have. I've
Yeah.
actually used walnuts. I've actually used a combo of almonds and walnuts. So it can be the nuts can be very versatile, just like different flavor. And then
Yes.
nut butters, peanut butter. Peanut butter is good enough. If you have access to almond butter, get that. And these are not just good for like a substitute, good fat, good snack. Have it with your bananas or with your fruits in your oatmeal or whatever. But it is also a good substitute for baking. Like you can
Yes.
substitute if you want oil free, you don't want to add the extra 1/4 cup of oil. Use nut butter. And um, if you want to add like depth and flavor to your food and make it moist, you can add this. So not just like a good alternative, but also a nutritious choice. And
Yes.
tahini is good. Tahini, it's sesame paste.
Especially for those who have kids, because omega 3s are um help your child's brain
Brain
to
health,
develop, right?
yeah,
So you
cognitive
have
health.
to load them with lots of nuts and seeds. So
Yeah,
that
oh,
is one of our staples.
very
Yeah.
very good tip. Yes, if you're raising kids and if you want them
Yes,
to be
must. That is
like
really a must.
sharp for cognitive health, like rich in omega 3. So make sure that you have that staple in their diet. So just give
Yes.
them
Healthy
um,
oils for
healthy oils,
kids.
nuts and seeds. Go for your flax, hemp, chia, your nuts and seeds. All right, and I'm actually done with this part. But just one thing though, um, not probably available in the Philippines a lot because I know back then we had a hard time looking for this. But this is dates,
Oh,
pickled dates. And if you're here in the Philippines or in the States or like in other parts of the country where this is available, this is a good substitute for sugar. If you don't want refined sugar, this is whole sugar. It has good fiber and a lot of minerals that are good for you. You can add this in your smoothies, in your oats, and you can have this as a snack. If you haven't tried this, this is like a vegan Snickers. So
Yeah.
dates, put peanut butter in between, and some nuts, like nuts or like chocolate and other. It is already your favorite, like a good snack.
Yeah. There's also date syrup. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if it's
that's
already
it.
available, but yeah. But remember with dates or date syrup, it changes the color of the
Food
food that you're mixing it into. So just
mix,
if
mixed
your
it
child
in
is
powder.
picky with the colors. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Oh, you can actually make date syrup from dates itself. It just takes a while. Like you have to like, make in a pot and like stir it for a very
Oh,
long
that's so good in like a brownie or
time.
like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
syrup on top. Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah, and you can make your own like chocolate sauce, like chocolate frosting out of dates. And your
Yes,
energy
yes.
balls too, sugar-free energy balls with just nuts, dates, like cocoa powder and other things that you want with dates. So dates is very versatile. If you have access to it, if you can afford it, and you want a healthier substitute to your sugar, I highly recommend it. And just other things. So we will go to legumes. Legumes is a vegan's choice for like high protein, and it's like a wide array. You can have it canned or you can have it dried. So I have both. I have dried beans, I have dried chickpeas, and I have dried legumes, and I also have canned if I'm in a hurry. So canned is also cheaper and very accessible, very available, and it's already cooked, so you don't even need a lot of time.
You don't have to pressure
Yeah,
cook it or
yeah.
leave it on the stove for
When,
5 hours.
oh, when I soak my dried beans overnight and then I cook it the next day, it takes forever. So that's why I make a big batch of
Oh
different
yeah, just
kinds, and
freeze
then
it.
yeah, so and then or make a big soup and just freeze the soup. So very basic. Of course, your munggos, mung
Yeah.
beans. So this is
Mungus,
me. This is me. Um, recycling my bottles, but not taking the
the label.
labels because I'm very lazy. So this is mung beans, and I have lentils, green lentils. You can use this as a substitute for ground beef or ground pork, a healthier protein substitute with that texture. Um, and I have here others. Black,
The black beans,
yeah,
red
black beans.
beans.
I have
Yeah,
black beans, and I have here canned chickpeas and the
chickpeas.
chickpea water. The water in the chickpea can you can use. You can beat it and a substitute for egg white.
Yeah, it's
So
called aquafaba.
okay, yeah, it's called aquafaba. So if you like stir it and make a foam out of it, and that is your um, chickpea water from the can. We actually pausing. We have a question from Mary Ann, and she's asking, "What's the replacement or substitute for honey?" I'm very happy that you asked because we just talked about it, and we were talking that honey is actually food for the bees, and we don't need honey to survive. You can use maple syrup or any liquid like agave
Yeah, agave molasses.
molasses.
Yeah,
Molasses is
the
rich in iron. And in
mm,
the Philippines, you can if you just need a sweetener, like if it's not particularly a liquid sweetener, if you just want sweetener, then you can use coconut oil. Not coconut, coconut sugar. And it is low glycemic. It's not as processed as your white sugar, so it's a very healthy substitute for sweetener, and you don't have to use the food for the bees. But if you have access for maple syrup, then that's great. If not, you can still sweeten your food with regular sugar. I didn't use honey or maple syrup back then. I just used coconut sugar, and I continued to use that here. So I hope we answered your question, Marianne.
Marianne?
So ask us if there are other things that you want to know, and just like quickly going through the different canned stuff. So I'm just gonna tell you that the canned goods that we always have. We always have coconut milk because
Yes,
that
us too.
creamy texture for your soups, and instead of putting like dairy cream, and also for baking, like some substitute for milk, and it's very versatile. You can use it in everything,
Oh, I
especially
like that. I like that coconut cream to use as an icing or a frosting for the cake.
right, right.
Yes.
So, and other things is like I always have like diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes or any tomato paste, tomato products. It's easier just cutting tomatoes and like like cutting so many tomatoes. And this is easier. This is cheap, and we all have canned corn for because corn is not always available here, but in the Philippines you have fresh corn, so use fresh.
Oh, what
And
I have here, my 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 all-time favorite canned food is the canned laing
oh, I have not had canned laing. Where
because
can I
laing is
find
one of my
laing?
favorites. It's from the Philippines, so I think if you go to a Filipino store there,
Oh,
you can
okay.
have one.
I should
Yeah.
look for that. I
Yeah,
have not had.
but remember to get the vegetable only laing because there's one variety that says vegetable laing, but it has shrimp paste on it. So
Oh, same
yeah.
with kimchi. Some have
Yeah, same with
shrimp
kimchi.
paste.
Yeah, you have to
Okay.
read everything.
So if you can find canned laing, go for that. I haven't had
Yes.
that, but I should look for it.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's only mostly cooked in northern Philippines, right? It's not
right,
very common in Cebu. So, but it's
right.
anything that has coconut milk, I love. So,
Oh, that's me too.
yeah, appeal.
Anything coconut. Oh, by the way, just to wrap up, canned stuff, canned vegetables are easy, cheap, and like easy to cook as a source of protein. Your beans, your chickpeas, and canned vegetables. If you can't buy fresh, so like don't shy away from them. But if you can have like dried lentils and like have that staple in your pan, they last a very long time. It makes it cheaper, way cheaper to have these dried stuff. It just takes time. So depending on the time that you have and your preference, they're very available to you. And then going to quickly like grains and pasta and everything. So we have pasta. You can choose any pasta. Very easy to make vegan pasta from just tomato sauce. You don't have to add meat in it. You can use lentils, or you don't even need that. You can make it tasty with your nooch.
Yes, or
Correct.
your sesame oil.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then favorite Asian noodle is rice noodle. I really like this peanut noodles, and just put like soy sauce, and very versatile, and just add different vegetables in it. Like um, I always have this, and then for
very
green,
quick to
this is
do.
this is so me because I didn't even like have white rice. I'm not sharing white rice because I'm not a fan of white rice. So if you like white rice, that's fine. But I have here quinoa, which is a good, healthy grain. And I have farro, good, very good texture if you want the chewy texture. And I have black rice. This is from Philippines, actually. So grains are good, high sources of minerals. So if you can have a variety, don't just stick to one. And if you have blood sugar issues, try not to go for white because white just shoots up your blood sugar. Go for brown, and like Jian, who adds turmeric in white rice. Add that. So those are my favorites. If Jian, you want to share what you have, you could do that.
Um, one grain that we have is millet, or in Cebu it's called kabog.
Oh yeah, yeah, millet.
Yeah, so this it's very nutritious, not just protein or what, but it's one of the things that um malnourished children are fed in the Philippines. If they're
Right.
malnourished, they go to the yeah. So
Yes.
the kabog or the millet is ground and then mixed in
True.
their food. Yeah,
I've
because
had that.
it's nutrient dense. Yeah.
Yes. So for those who are fellow Cebuanas or even like everyone in the Philippines, if you have access to kabog or millet, then grab
Mm.
that as your grain instead. And I know that there is this adlay.
Yes,
Adlay
I'd
is
lie
a good,
to
adlay is
is
a
popular.
good grain. So just explore, guys, your horizon
Yes.
in terms of grains because there are so many that you can have, not just white rice. I know like our palate is used to it, but if you want something nutritious, more filling with fiber, protein, then go for other kinds of grains. So again, these are the things, or these are favorites. Are adding some nutritional value to it, but you don't have to have all of them to go vegan. And then we'll go to the refrigerator stuff and just quickly, plant milk, guys. There are so many options already. Don't go for dairy anymore. Dairy is scary, and you're getting the the
You're
food
getting
for baby cows.
the
So
baby cow's milk,
yeah, it's the same story as the milk, the honey.
the honey for the bees.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
getting their food. They need the milk to survive. We don't. So please grab soy, almond. I have macadamia right now, but I switch it up. You can have, there's already rice milk, there's oat milk. Like, yes, go for
Yes,
it.
there are a lot of options. And for those who are concerned about giving formula milk to their babies, to their newborns, you consult your pediatrician because we are not experts on that, but we definitely recommend breast milk, human milk for human babies.
Yeah, and
Okay?
a lot of pediatricians who promote plant-based milk already confirm that you can actually use soy as a substitute. And I think like a certain age, like one, don't quote me on this, but I think when they turn one, you can already give them soy milk. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think there are already newborn plant-based formulas.
that's great.
So, yeah,
That's great. So
yeah, a
that,
good
and then what else? Tofu. Ah, you should never
tofu.
go go out
Can't
of.
live without tofu.
You can live without tofu. It's very versatile. It absorbs whatever seasoning you put, whatever flavor you put. And what a hack is, if just in case you still don't know, when you freeze the tofu, when you thaw it and take out the rest of the water, it gives you that meaty texture. So if you have
Yes.
time to freeze it and then thaw it and then take the water out, like a good chest workout. And
It's
so
very, very cheap.
yeah, oh yes, very cheap. And that's why like a lot of people actually use it. So tofu or here we have tempeh, but if that's not available in the Philippines, totally okay. You can stick with tofu. Other substitute is actually miso. Miso paste gives you like if you had miso soup, so that taste. You can add this in your soups. It's a good soup in itself, just hot water, miso, and sesame, the sesame flakes, or not sesame flakes, your seaweeds, the
Mm,
dry seaweed. That's a good soup already. And you can also use this as a substitute for salt. If you're cutting on salt, but a good source of salt is your miso because it's fermented. And
that's what we use to flavor our pinakbet, actually, the miso paste.
oh, I use that too.
Oh,
Remember, I made recently.
high
So
five.
high five. And so now, just these are special things that that I have, but probably you won't have. But if you can have it, it's a good thing to have. So this is vegan mayo. I usually make my vegan mayo out of soft tofu with vinegar, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, onion powder, and yeah, vinegar. So that you blend it, and you can make vegan mayo with must and also with mustard. So this one is vegan mayo that we bought, but there is already another brand that's very
What
cheap.
what's that? What's your brand?
This
Hellman's?
is the veganized Earth Island, but there is this
Ah,
other
okay.
one, the new one, which is very cheap. Hein
Hellman's?
Hellman?
Hyman's? I
Yeah,
think
so
that's
that
the
one,
one I like. Yeah.
that one tastes like mayo.
Yeah, but in the Philippines, the real Happy Cow has the best vegan mayo.
Okay, there you go. Real
Yeah,
happy
the
cow.
real Happy Cow.
All right.
I'm not paid or anything, but I just love the mayo. They have
Okay,
different kinds of mayo, so you can check them out if you want.
that's great. So we're already actually an hour now. So we will wrap this up. We've been
Yeah,
chicaning.
because they're tired of
We've been
giving for money.
chicaning for products, but we're so eager to share.
Yeah,
We're also
but as you can see, a vegan diet is not bland. It actually inspired me to
explore.
explore more. Yeah,
Yeah,
with
same
different
same here.
flavors.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you get introduced to so many flavors that
Yes.
you didn't know back then, right?
Yes, exactly. I didn't know about falafels before I went vegan,
Oh,
but
I knew about that.
yeah, yeah.
I love
So
falafel
yeah.
when I was vegan because in New York, that was my favorite falafel wraps.
Oh
So I
yeah.
love falafels. Chickpeas. Falafels are actually made of chickpeas, like form
Chickpeas.
into
Yes,
balls.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So other things like we have vegan cheese. It's becoming more available now on vegan butter.
Yes.
So if you don't want to miss out on those things like cheese like me before, we have so many vegan cheeses available here, but maybe not in the Philippines. But even back then, you can still go vegan like Jian without the
Yes.
cheese.
When I went vegan, none of these stuff was available for me.
Mm-hmm.
We are lucky now. You are lucky now.
Right.
If you are planning to transition, you will not miss anything.
Right. And the lastly, I'd like to share what I have in my freezer, and it's very basic. So if like for those who are on a budget and can't buy like fresh produce because they find it expensive, you can actually go like frozen vegetables. They are already cooked and they're already blanched and then frozen, so you can use that. And then it's easy because you just have to heat them. You can also have frozen fruits, and if they're not in season, especially for those in North America and other parts of the country where they can't find fresh fruits. So you can also do the frozen, and also that's what we already mentioned. Freeze your tofu, and my freezer will never go run out of frozen bananas. Frozen bananas make nice cream, which is banana ice cream. That is your base to make it creamy, and you just add a different fruits with it, and that will already give you that ice cream texture. And you can use it in your smoothies. That's the key to having that very creamy texture in your smoothies, the frozen banana. So if you have like those black bananas with spots that you want to throw away, aside from making banana bread, which is like like so pandemic last year, make freeze them so that you can use them in your smoothies. And
Yes.
like
And you can
berries.
even taste the bananas if you're thinking about, oh, the smoothie will taste like the bananas. It's if you mix it with other fruits, then
Mhm.
it will take on that flavor. It will just give you the sweetness.
Yes, totally. So, those are the products that we have, but I'd like to add three more products which are actually local here in Vancouver or in Canada, and I just really like them because they're very nutritious, and I wanted to like promote them because I use them every day. And that is the number one is actually this turmeric. So I know that it's very popular to use powdered turmeric, but here we have this turmeric paste. So as if like they grate the turmeric. So I find it's very nutritious, not just the powdered one. And this is from Truly Turmeric, and I use it every day as a tea and even in food. And you can have it with your rice. And this is chai tea. So chai, it's a local brand, and I like this particular brand because it's just really tea and spices, and it's a good mixture of spices to give, especially here during winter time. And spices is good for your gut. It's healing for your gut. So Droopy's chai, check it out. If you're here. And lastly, I put this in my oats. I put this in my baked goods and also in my oatmeal. This is Garu food. So this is like a powdered, it's like powdered food. So I don't really call them protein powder, but powdered food because it's real food. It's made of beans, kelp, sesame. So it's all the goodness in a powder. So if you're in a hurry, like, oh, I need that protein uh, like in my food, just add it in there and it tastes really, really good. And not available in the Philippines, but if you're here, try it out.
If you're in the Philippines, then you can just use dried kamunggay leaves or malunggay leaves.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
I actually brought from the Philippines dried leaves. So I add it in my mungus, in my soup, and they become like
Yes.
full leaves when you put them in, when they rehydrate. So
Yeah, yeah.
I have that.
Yeah,
Uh,
because what do they call that here? Moringa powder is very
so
expensive here.
expensive. Oh my God. So you are very lucky in the Philippines. It's a superfood. So have malunggay. My parents actually have malunggay soup every day, utan every day. So, and I'm very happy because it actually is a mood uplifter. It's a mood enhancer. It's rich in iron. So, all the good stuff. You can not, like, you don't have to feel deprived when you go vegan because, there's so many things available to you now, especially, and there are so many resources too, not just this
Yeah.
one. There's so many resources available. Everything's like available in your fingertips. But just to remind those who are watching and also not watching right now, that this is going to be posted in YouTube and you can access it anytime. And in the descriptions box, we will share to you the products that we love and will help you with your transitions. You can ask us questions by, if like not probably now, but you can reach out to Jian, Cebuana Vegan in IG, in Instagram, or Be Yoga Wellness in Instagram. I share stuff like a lot of food and yoga stuff there, mindfulness, and also in our FB, like my FB, Bernadette Yoga Wellness. So you can follow us along, get some inspiration. You can message us definitely. And as I shared in the beginning, I decided to do this because a lot of people are asking if I can do cooking demos or cooking videos, and I thought, if I'm going to do that, then we would like to introduce the pantry first so that they know what they need to have.
A vegan pantry looks like. So
Yeah,
you
so that
you can cook along.
yeah, so you can cook along. But even then, I was thinking that we will already give the recipes ahead of time so that they can cook along while they're watching, right? Cook with me or something like that. But yeah, this is a kickstart of like sharing our kitchen with you, and I hope that this inspires you, and I hope that you've learned something to make those substitutions. And if they didn't stick right now, that's okay. This is something that you can access again, and you can always reach out to us anytime. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Gian, any parting words, especially for a vegan mom and
Uh,
having a vegan
for
kid?
Yeah, for vegan moms, I think you don't really have to count every nutrient or everything that your child eats if she lacks this or what. You just remember you have to give your child the three macronutrients, so fats, protein, and carbohydrates. If you give your child that every meal, then she will be good to go. My daughter does not take any supplement, and
Mhm.
her all her what's that levels
Yeah.
are okay.
Blood work is okay.
So she's good. She does not take any supplements. um um a variety of food, of course,
Hmm.
not just one. So one, like if she has an apple this morning, then maybe grapes for lunch or like that. Just variety into and always remember that if a child refuses food the first time, you just have to keep introducing the food, because sometimes it takes 40 tries before a child will actually pick up that food and try it. Yeah. So repetition and consistency is the key to achieving a good food relationship for your child. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
you need to ask anything, just just don't hesitate to follow me, and I will answer any vegan related questions.
Yeah, that'd be
Because
great.
yeah, my child and I am proof that you can thrive in a vegan diet. Because I've
Yeah,
been vegan 11 years, no health problem whatsoever, thank God. And my
yeah,
my daughter also is already 4 years old, not deprived at all, very happy eating
very
all
happy.
the yeah. If you watch her eating pechay or broccoli, yeah, you will laugh your heart out because she's totally not deprived. And yeah, so
Yeah, that's why you should follow along Yari's journey with Jian, because she's just a happy kid, and like like some people think that you don't have energy and things like that when you go vegan, when you eat vegetables, but it's the opposite for her. She's like so lively and fun. She does
yeah,
yoga,
she's
so
like the president of the Vegan Kids Club. So yeah,
it's so amazing that you share. Oh, and also like just to like add on to what you just said, like give them a variety. And this is not just for the kids, but also for
yes,
everyone around there, that you don't have to feel the fear that you won't get enough proteins or minerals from the vegan from going vegan or going plant-based, because each vegetable has their own amino acids. So if you have a variety, you will have like complete protein. And studies have already shown that those who actually go vegan have like way more protein consumption than those like who eat just meat. So you don't have to fear anything. But if you do need help and you feel like it has effects when you transition, give yourself some time. But if you need to reach out to a practitioner, you can definitely do that. But like start slow, and you will learn along the way, and don't forget to reach out. All right.
yes, yeah.
Okay. So I
Thank
think we're
you.
getting a lot of chica, and it's already like very late for GN too, because like there's a time difference, and maybe
Yeah,
Yari's
it's
already
9
sleeping.
p.m. here.
Yeah, it's like sleeping time for her. She wakes up very early, and it's dinner time for us here. So I have to prepare dinner after. I don't know what I'll be making, but probably very simple. But next
The
time,
rice noodles.
right, probably. So next time, we will see you again in my kitchen, but cooking something, so that I hope that you can cook with us. I will definitely invite Gian again, like probably
With
in
Yari, perhaps.
with Yari. Maybe we can bake something, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it will be fun. So thank you again for
Thank
everyone
you
who
for
joined us.
watching.
Have a good night and happy Sunday for those in the Philippines. Like, eat your vegetables, stay healthy, stay safe. And Gian, hi
Happy
to
vegan
Yari.
worry, guys.
Happy vegan Mary, hi to Yari, and hi to Pambundok.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye. Okay, let's end this.